this interview with St. Paul's head coach Steve Mask. We're joined now by Coach Steve Mask of the St. Paul Saints, previewing his 2013 football team. Glad to have you, Coach.
Well, thank you. I was glad to be here. Always a pleasure.
Coach, you've got and you haven't shied away from this, you've got what ought to be a really good football team coming back this fall. You've got a lot of high-profile players returning. Tell us a little bit about what you've done to help the team deal with some of those, what could be off-the-field distractions, and what you've done to help some of those individual players through the recruiting and the high, almost celebrity status.
Well, it's a daily process. You know, it's something that we started addressing 2 years ago, especially with Josh and Trey. They both projected to be at this point in their careers, along with Xavier. And so what you do, you get them at an early age, at the 9th and 10th grade, say this could be coming down the pike. We started explaining to them how we're going to handle it, the steps that we're going to go through to ensure that they stay humble throughout the entire process, and how we're going to help them to achieve the ultimate goal where they want to go to. As far as the other players, you know, there's no jealousy, because by them being recruited as much as they have, it gives everybody else a chance to be seen also. And you may not have a kid that's an SEC player, but an SEC coach may come in and say, you know what, you need to go look at this wide receiver at St. Paul's. He's got enough ability to play for you, because football's played on a lot of different levels. And everybody can't be an SEC player, but they can be a mid-major player. They can be a Division I AA player, a Division II player, even a Division III player. So we look at it as a blessing to have these kind of players in our program.
Coach, before we move on to 2013, just reflecting on 2012 a little bit, I covered both the St. Paul Spanish Fort games last year. Those had to be two of the more physical high school football games I think I've ever seen. Anybody that stayed in bounds had a real good chance of getting popped, and some of the ones out of bounds had a good chance of getting popped. Speak a little bit just about that rivalry and how those two programs are pushing each other to excel.
Well, I think we both raised the bar. You know, obviously their bar's been raised a bit higher than ours the last couple of years, or two out of the last 3 years, for example. But, you know, in all honesty, no disrespect towards Magador or anybody, the state championship game was played that night on top of the hill. And Mark and I both knew it going in. We probably had two of the best teams in the state, and give them props for winning it. You know, we won over there early in the year. It's just really tough to go back over there and win 2 years, 2 times within 1 year. And I alluded to it in a question a while ago, is that we lost a game in the season that we knew was probably going to hurt us in the playoffs. By losing to Viger in overtime, it threw us an entire different deal. And then when you start traveling to Eufaula, you start traveling to Greenville, you get Briarwood coming in, then you have to travel back to Spanish Fort. It's a tough road to hoe. You hear the NFL talk about all the time about going on the road trying to win against good people. But, you know, in retrospect, if we had won, we'd had a hard time playing the next week because we were so beat up. And what you said about the physicality of both of those games, we were sore for 2 weeks after playing them the first time. So, you know, just two good football teams. I mean, really good football teams going at each other.
Looking forward to 2013. You've expressed a little bit of concern about your defensive line. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, they're going to be okay. I mean, if there's anything that drives me crazy, and no disrespect to any other high school coaches, it drives me crazy when a high school coach says we're going to be young. They're all young. That's why they're in high school. I prefer the word inexperienced. I mean, it just, to me, and again, I'm going to make some of my brethren mad. We got beat because we're young. Well, we're playing young too. You know, you get beat sometimes because somebody else got better DNA than you do. And our DNA is okay up there, but it's very inexperienced. You don't replace a Jared Holloway or a Brian Slater. Both those guys signed Division I scholarships without being a little concerned about it.
And on the other side of the ball on offense, how do you replace some of the speed from last year's team?
Well, most of that's back. To be honest with you, you know, Colin Towner was a great free safety and impacted the kicking game tremendously as far as being a returner. And then we had the wild card advantage of throwing him in there at wide receiver, and when he caught it, it was over. You know, I don't know that you truly ever replace a kid like that. That kid's an indoor state champion in the 60 meter and outdoor state champions in the 100 meter. Those don't come along very long, but we're still okay there. Austin McPherson's a really good running back. He's got over 2,500 yards. You know, I'm a 10th grader yet. And Austin Mosley, I might have said Austin McPherson is what I meant as the 10th grader, but you know, we're going to be okay there if we stay healthy. And we lost a really good quarterback in Bradley Padgett, who had an outstanding year. Hayden Farr's got a lot of upsides. He just needs to play. He hasn't played high school quarterback ever. He played wide receiver for us last year, and at Fairhope his sophomore year. He didn't play a lot, so the ability's there. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine.
And Coach, finally, you opened with Fairhope Pirates to start the 2013 campaign. Other than obviously wanting to come out ahead on the scoreboard, what are you really looking for in that game that'll show you that your program's ready for this upcoming season?
How are we going to compete? I mean, last year we jumped on top of them 23-7 and we're out of gas. You know, it's truly not fair. You know, and I don't get into A's, 6A, 5A, 4A, and all that kind of stuff, but you know, they're sitting there with 1,500, 1,600 kids, and we're sitting here with 300 kids, top three grades. If we can go over there and compete against a really good football team, they're like us. They've lost some key people. How are they going to react? So if we go over there and we compete and we come out of there knowing that we competed for 4 quarters and we don't win, then we'll take what we learned from that and build upon it. If we do win, we'll put it to the side and get ready for the region games.
Coach Steve Mask, we really appreciate you previewing your 2013 St. Paul Saints football program. Good luck this fall.
Well, thank you, and I'll tell you what, y'all do a great job at WNSP promoting high school football, and I've been all over the state. I'm really a Yankee by trade. I'm from North Alabama, Muscle Shoals area, but in the 5 years I've been here, y'all do a tremendous job, and we appreciate what y'all do for our kids.